Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Horse's Mouth Live. As always, I'm here to bring you guests that have great information to help you in every aspect of your life, especially your business. And I am so excited that we have Bob Burg with us today. I'm going to read you a little bit of his official background, but what I want you to know is that Bob and I have known each other since the mid-90s. I met him when he spoke at a National Speakers Association meeting in Illinois. And Bob, I don't know if you remember this, but you were speaking on how to remember people's names and networking back then. And here's the thing. Bob is one of the kindest, most authentic people that I've ever met in my life. I mean, in truth, probably in all these many years, we've seen each other in person, maybe less than a handful of times. But Bob is so generous and so warm that I think of him as a dear friend, even though we haven't spent all that much time together. Now, I am sure you've heard of Bob because you've heard of his amazing book called The Go-Giver. You probably have also seen Bob maybe at a big conference. He speaks, well, when he could speak on stages live, he was doing that all over the world, but with, some of the biggest business leaders, former presidents. His expertise is incredible. You may not know this. Hopefully you've read The Go-Giver. If you haven't, after this show is over, I hope you will go get that book. But it sold over 950,000 copies. And there's a reason for that. It's such an amazing book. I've learned so much from Bob, and I'm so excited to have him here today. Welcome.
I am excited to be with you. We really don't speak that often, but your name comes up on practically every interview I do, because when I talk about one of the laws, which is receptivity, it's all about the mindset in terms of wealth. And I always mention you as one of the key people to study. In terms of mindset and in terms of receptivity and being able to work with money on a very healthy mind level. So your name actually comes up quite a bit with me.
You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to start for those listeners who either are not familiar with The Go-Giver or maybe read it when it first came out and haven't refreshed themselves on the principles. In all these years, what do you find in terms of concepts of the book that resonate most with people or stick with them the most?
Well, I think what the book did was it sort of gave people permission to really care about their customer and client and be a good person, knowing that, yes, they could do that and still make a very, very healthy income, and that it wasn't in spite of being a good person and doing right by others. It was because they were doing right by others. There's that, treacherous dichotomy that we've all been brought up, around when it comes to money, and certainly whether it's upbringing, environment, schooling, news media, television shows, and movies. We see so much where the wealthy people did it on the backs of others, and they did it by through nefarious means, or on stepping on people's toes, and you see that just everywhere, and it's mostly fiction. Now, there are bad people in the world. It's a big world, okay? But by and large, anyone who operates in a free market system, and when I say free market, I simply mean no one is forced to do business with anyone else, okay? The only way you can earn a lot of money is by serving a lot of people and serving them well. So, I think that's really why it kind of hit home. People were so tired of hearing that you couldn't be that way, that the focus had to be the money, that the focus needed to be, that it kind of gave them and then what happened was the initial early, I guess you could say, early adopters of the book were the people who were already very successful doing it like that, and they just liked there being a book out that expressed what they had always been trying to teach, but the people wouldn't listen because sometimes it's a third party that has to say it for
Mhm.
people to believe it. And so I think that's really what helped it take off.
I think back about when I had my financial advisory practice and the first recession I had gone through, which was in the early 2000s, and pretty much my career before that, the market had just gone up. And in 2002, the market was down 17% that year, and it was after 9/11, and people were so worried. I mean, the worry then maybe doesn't compare to the worry people are feeling now, but they really were. And I remember switching how I viewed my business to the traditional measures of success in financial advising, like how many assets you have under management, and net new business, and number of clients. And I really put all my attention on, oh my gosh, people are so freaked out. I really need to serve them now. They need me more than ever. And my business grew 39% in a market that was down 17%. And so I have personal experience of how that works. And it feels so much better, right? Like I hadn't hit my business goals before that because they weren't motivating.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it makes so much sense.
yeah. Well,
And how sad that people needed reminding that they can
well,
really be
and
out there.
and that's too bad because I think there's been enough information out there that shows that when you do business the right way, um, that's going to determine the right things happening. Again, all the time in every situation. No, it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a general principle. But that if you work within those principles, if you work within those laws, it's going to pay off for you. And basically, Alan, the basic premise of the Go-Giver itself is that shifting your focus, and this is again what we were just talking about, and what you were talking about, what you did, shifting your focus from getting to giving. And when we say giving in this context, we simply mean constantly and consistently providing immense value to others, understanding that doing so is not only a more pleasant way of conducting business, which it is, but it's also the most financially profitable. But lest anyone think that this is some kind of magical or mystical kind of thought, oh, just do good and good. No, it's not. It's actually very rational. It's very logical. When you're that person who can move from an I focus or me focus to an other focus, looking to bring immense value to others, looking to help people solve their challenges, helping them to attain happiness as they understand happiness to be. Well, people feel good about you. People want to get to know you. They like you. They trust you. They want to be a part of your life. They want to do business with you, and they want to tell others about you.
Bob, I just flashed back to when I've been through some of your networking and getting referrals workshops. And I don't know if you coined this, but I always think you did when people say people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And whenever I hear other people saying that and not quoting you, it gets me upset. But it's still a concept that makes so much sense. And it's just in alignment with just what you said. People want to do business with good people.
Yeah.
And I know you've done some teaching around Robert Cialdini. I don't know if that's how you say his name, the Law of Reciprocity. And it just all seems to fall into that you almost build this bank account with people where not that they feel like they owe you, but they really want to help you.
So let's go back to the know, like, and trust, because there's a kind of a thing about that. And I appreciate, by the way, you saying that. The full saying, and then I'll share the part that I think is mine and the part that I don't think is. Okay, the full saying is that all things being equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people they know, like, and trust. Now, the part about I'm sure someone before me probably talked about liking and trusting or knowing or something like that. So I'm not sure whether that's totally mine, but the part that is, are a couple very important parts. The first one being all things being equal. This is key, because if things are not, and people say, well, but things are never totally equal. No, but they can be close enough. but they can know, like, and trust you to the nth degree. But if you can't deliver certain things, not so much even because of competency, though that might be, but it might be in terms of deliverability. It might be not having access to that thing. It might not be whatever it is, that thing that they want, need, or desire. And if that's the case, it doesn't matter how much they know, like, or trust you, they're not going to do business with you. Okay. But typically that know, like, and trust, because we're assuming a priori that yeah, you pretty much have the same, especially in the financial services field. By and large, the products and services are commodities. Nothing good or bad about that. It's just what it is. Okay. In real estate, it's houses. In different businesses, it's different things. Okay. So the chances are that know, like, and trust is really going to come into play as a financial advisor. And if they know, like, or trust you, and all other things are, equal, yeah, you're going to get that business, and you're going to get those referrals.
So as long as we've kind of gone down this road, what are some ways that you can help build a way for people to know, like, and trust you, besides not being a jerk and obvious things?
Well, you think about it, and this is really where the law of influence, law number 3, came in the book. And the law of influence says your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. Now, this sounds kind of counterintuitive. Can kind of sound a little Pollyanna-ish too, right? Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. Yet, if you look at the greatest leaders, the top influencers, the highest money earning advisors, this is simply what they do. It's how they live their lives. It's how they conduct their business. They're always looking out for the benefit of the other person. Now, I want to qualify that statement, though. When we say place other people's interests first, we certainly don't mean you should be anyone's doormat or a martyr or self-sacrificial in any way. No, it's simply that again, it's that all things being equal, the know, like, and trust. Well, there's no faster, more powerful, or more effective way to elicit those feelings toward you, those know, like, and trust feelings toward you in another person, than by genuinely and authentically moving your focus off yourself and onto them. Or as Sam, one of the mentors in the story, who was the financial advisor, advised Joe, making your win all about the other person's win. And it's interesting, in his great book, Give and Take, Wharton Business School professor Dr. Adam Grant cited a study of Australian financial advisors. They did a study of the cream of the crop in terms of highest money producing, okay, the top earners. What separated them? What was the determining factor? Now, did they have good financial acumen? Of course they did. But then again, so did many of the others. Did they work hard? Absolutely they did. And so did many of the others. No, the determining factor was that they placed the interests of their clients before themselves and before their firms. And because of that, they actually profited the most. So, there's no doubt that is how when I say no doubt, I'm not saying I made up anything. None of these laws in the book are anything original, right? That John and I talk about. These are all, proven, tried and true principles. But I think the big way really that you gain that influence, which elicits that, which is the result of that know, like, and trust, is simply by asking yourself questions such as, how does what I'm asking this person to do, how does it align with their goals, with their wants, with their needs, with their desires? How does what I want this other person to do, how does it align with their values? What problems am I solving for them? How am I, again, helping them to attain happiness? And when we ask ourselves these questions thoughtfully, intelligently, um, genuinely, authentically, not as a way to manipulate another human being into doing our will, but as a way of benefiting them. Now we've earned that person's commitment, if you will, to ourselves, to us, and then to our ideas.
So I know there's several follow-up books to The Go-Giver, and one of the more recent ones is The Go-Giver Influencer, and you've been kind of going into that. What other things, first of all, maybe just defining what does it mean to be an influencer, and then what are some things advisors can think about in terms of things maybe they aren't already doing that maybe could have them have a bigger influence, whether that's over their clients kind of doing the right thing, or their centers of influence, people who might be referring work into them.
Well, if you define influence on a very, very basic level, it's simply the ability to move a person or persons to a desired action, usually within the context of a specific goal. That's the definition, but it's not its essence, right? It's not the substance or the essence of influence. The essence of influence is pull as opposed to push. Most of us have heard the saying, "How far can you push a rope?" And we know the answer is not very, at least not very fast or very effectively, which is why great influencers don't push. You never hear people saying, "Wow, that David or that Mary, she is so influential. She has a lot of push with people." No, she's influential. She has a lot of pull with people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's really what pull is. It's or what influence is. It's pull. It's an attraction. Great influencers attract people, again, first to themselves and only then to their ideas. And they do this by understanding a very basic principle. And when I speak at sales conferences, I often will begin by saying, nobody's going to buy from you because you have a quota to meet, right? They're not going to buy from you because you need the money. And they're not even going to buy from you because you're a really nice person, right? They're going to buy from you because they believe they'll be better off by doing so than by not doing so. And that's the only reason why they should buy from you or from me, right, or from anyone else. Now, so everything, and as as we've seen a theme, and certainly as something you've lived out, it's really understanding that it's all about the other person. Um, we look at what is sales. Well, sales is simply discovering what the other person needs, wants, or desires, and helping them to get it. So everything we do in this regard is all about that. So I think that when we approach that way with that other focus, that's what we do to, again, elicit that know, like, and trust and create the environment for us to be referred. Now, when we have a customer client, and it's time to ask for referrals, I'm a big believer that we do need to ask. Now, there are people who say, "Well, just do a good enough job and they'll, refer you." A small percentage of people will, but I wouldn't depend on that. There are some people, small group of people, percentage, who they will on their own. They refer people who they love. I'm one of those people. Okay, I love referring people. That probably makes sense since that's what I talk about. So I obviously have a love for the whole thing. But if I really love my salesperson, everyone's going to know about them. But that's not a high percentage. There are some that no matter how much they love their salesperson, they're just not going to refer. It's not what they do. Okay. Most people will refer salespeople and other professionals, but they typically need to be asked and guided through the process and feel comfortable with that process. We can take a look at that if you'd like, and even
I was going to ask. So, like, what are some ways that don't feel icky to be able to ask for a referral?
Exactly, because we never want to feel icky. I think that's a tweet. We never want to feel at Bob Burg, right? And so icky is not good. So the first thing I would do is I utilize something I call the referral bridge or the bridge phrase. What is a bridge? Well, in the physical world, a bridge is a structure that transports you from one safe piece of land to another. In the referral world, the bridge is a phrase that transports you from one safe piece of land to another, from the safe piece of land being where they know, like, and trust you, to the other safe piece of land where you can ask for referrals in a way that's very, very comfortable, both for you and for them. So this phrase, and you'll use your own language, but it's the principle of it that really is important. We'll go through it and see why. And so it would sound something like this. Let's say Dave is the client. Dave, I'm in the process of expanding my referral business, and I find it's helpful to partner with my friends and clients such as you. Can we take a few quick minutes and run past the names of some other people I might also be able to help? Now, you can take the first part where it says, I'm in the process of expanding my referral business, and say something instead, such as, as I'm doing more and more business by referral these days. And then you can say, I find it helpful too. So whatever is more your style. So let's go over why this is important. Then we'll go on to the actual how to ask correctly. So when we say, I'm in the process of expanding my referral business, or as I'm doing more and more of my business these days through referrals. Either of those, it signals this person in a very posture-filled way, humble posture, but posture and confidence that this is what you're going to be asking them. Next part is, I find it helpful so helpful is also, there's no desperation. I find it helpful to partner, and that's a very key word because you're giving them buy-in to your success. And remember, they know, like, and trust you. They want to see you succeed, and they want to be a part of it. To partner with my friends and clients, or clients and friends such as you. Can we take a few quick minutes and run past? Now, this is what I call fast language or quick language. You're not saying it quickly, but the words you're using imply correctly that you're not going to take up a lot of their time. So you're going to help them feel very comfortable. Listen to these fast words or quick words. Can we take a few quick minutes and run past? And then the names of some other people I might also be able to help. Now, why did I say might? Don't I want Dennis who I definitely can? Well, because the fact is, we don't know if everyone's going to be interested, and they probably won't. And we want to make sure our client, now referral source, always feels very comfortable with the fact that we're never going to be so dogmatic about our business that we're ever going to come on too strong, that we're going to respect people's right to not be interested. So we say might. That's what I call the out or the back door. We always want to imply and give people the out. So again, I'm in the process of expanding my referral business, or it might be as I'm doing more and more of my business now through referral, I find it helpful to partner with my friends and clients such as you. Can we take a few quick minutes and run past the names of some other people I might also be able to help? Now, when you have their buy-in to it, now it's very easy to make a common mistake. And that is to say, who do you know who, or do you know anyone who? Because when we ask that question, we're usually going to get the response, well, I can't think of anybody right now, but when I do, I'll call you or let you know. And that usually doesn't happen. And the reason is because we're giving them too big a field. Okay. When we say, do you know anyone who, or who do you know? Most people know 250 people indirectly, or, what have you. So when we say anyone or what have you, a collage of 250 nameless, faceless people goes dancing through their mind. One of the best pieces of advice I received on this is through Tom Hopkins. This was 40 years ago in his classic, How to Master the Art of Selling. He spent about a half a page on this, and this half page has been a gold mine, and it works to this day. And it's simply to gently funnel down people's worlds into small groups who they can see. So if, let's say, Anne is your client, okay, and you utilize the referral bridge, and she says, yeah, sure, or what have you, and say, And I know you are you're a pretty avid golfer, aren't you? And she goes, oh yeah, I love golfing. I play every Sunday afternoon. I might say, well, do you play with different people every time, or sort of the same group? Oh no, same foursome. Myself, Harry Brown, Michael Cloud, Dr. Mary Ruart, the four of us. We have been golfing buddies for years. Boom. She's just named three people. Now you can say, would Harry or Michael or Dr. Mary, do you feel any of, what have you, however you frame it. Now you go to a different frame. She's a member of her business professional women's club. You don't ask, is there anyone in your club, anyone in your chapter? Could be too big a chapter. But instead you would say, is there anyone in your chapter who you're particularly close with, you sit next to every time or serve on a committee with? She names a couple of names. And by the way, Harry, Michael, and Dr. Mary, none of them might be people who she thinks are interested, but it doesn't matter. You're creating the environment for her to succeed and to feel confident. So when you give a few frames like this, now she's little by little able to come up with a name or two. And once she does and the ice is broken, now it's much easier for her to associate people with other people, and her world starts to open up to her. And then, so again, this is just the kind of the scratch of the surface, but that is how you would ask, in such a way that you're greatly increasing the odds of their being able to come up with good quality names.
So I looked down for a second because I was taking notes, because I'm in the process of doing a new kind of consulting coaching, and was asking for referrals from past clients who've been super happy. And I knew the way I was asking was too broad. So it was like friends, people in your family, and I knew that wasn't right, but you helped distill this so effectively. Thank you, Bob. And, as I think back about so many things that I do in business, I've learned so much from you. And I was telling our producer before we went live that I don't have your book here because I'm on a board of a bank downtown. I have an office there, and that's where my book is. And I haven't been able to get into the bank for months now. Right. But also in my desk at the bank are cassette tapes that you sent me 15 years ago as a gift, when I said that I wanted to help the people there learn to know people's names better. And I cannot get rid of them. Even though I don't own a cassette recorder, I wouldn't know how to find one now. But I'm like, no, this is gold.
With cassettes, because I think cassettes were kind of even before that. I'm not sure.
Well, whatever it is.
But it's really funny, even cassettes. Remember those? Yeah. Weren't they one step above it?
And it came with a workbook, and the whole burrito there. So yeah. So thank you so much for all the good that you do in the world. You so walk your talk. You've always been so generous with me. Thank you for making time to be on this show with us today. I know the people that are watching live and the people that are going to be watching the recording of this are going to be so grateful from the information that you gave us. I just have to say one more thing that I learned from you, because this was such a great tip. And this was on a webinar you gave a bunch of years ago, where it was like a secret formula. And I think you'll remember this. If not, I'll share it. But when you want to ask somebody for help, like you want a better upgrade at a hotel, or there was like a secret way that you could ask someone. And I use this to this day. So before I let you get off, will you just share that with the listeners?
Yeah, and this is when you've set it up correctly through being polite, patient, and and everything, and you've got this person who they want to help you, even though they're not used. And you simply use these 8 words. If you can't do it, I'll definitely understand. Now, you wait a few seconds. If you want, you can add, if you could, I'd certainly appreciate it. And then the coup de resistance, with the pièce de résistance, the coup de grace would be, don't get yourself in any trouble over it. Yeah.
I love that. And I've used it, and I've shared it with people, my family, our kids. So thanks for that last little tidbit.
Thank you.
Bob, if people want to, besides going and getting your books, the Go Givers books and the other books you've written, if they want to learn more about your programs, bring you in to speak at an event, where should we send them?
Yeah, Burg, BURG.com is really the best place. And I do have an online video course that's just being released called Endless Referrals, the Go Giver Way.
Oh,
So
perfect.
they can check that out. And if they go to Burg.com, they can, if they put their name in and sign up to be on our list, we'll give them notification when it comes out.
Beautiful. And you should get on Bob's list. I've been on it for a long time, and he sends out great videos and great information. So thank you. And thank all of you who are on live and who are watching the recording afterwards. We're so grateful to have you here as part of the Horse's Mouth family. And hopefully you'll refer this on to your friends as well. And if you'd like more information about me, you can find it at ellenrogan.com. And if you go to ellenrogan.com/horse's mouth, I have a bunch of goodies there for you, a special report for advisors about what clients crave. And we've also recently added some more about how to be using tools like mindfulness to be really present with your clients right now. So thank you all for being here. And the question to ponder is, how big of a positive impact are you willing to make? Thank you all. And remember